What's up, everybody? I am extremely excited to bring to you today and to interview Albie Rogers. What is up, homie? Thanks for coming on.
Not much. Yeah, thank you.
I am stoked. So for those of you that don't know, which probably is everyone watching this, unless you already are in the program, you know Albie. Albie is in, oh my gosh, I need help. What is it?
Quag.
East Quag, New York. If you're wondering where that is, it's in the Hamptons. So just understand it's in the Hamptons. Like, you're good. So she owns Nomad East Fitness, and you guys are a rowing studio, correct? Primarily?
We used to be a rowing studio. Yep, we were. Yep.
But now it's strength and conditioning, basically?
Mostly strength and conditioning. I always say it's like a boutique CrossFit.
Sweet.
We do same rogue equipment. We do a lot of the same movements. It's just not like a hardcore.
I love it.
CrossFit
I love
anymore.
it.
Yeah.
So to grab everyone's attention real quick. So Albie actually signed up with GymLaunch an hour before going into labor with your second child or third?
My second.
Yeah. So we'll get to that in just a little bit, but I want everyone to understand that she literally signed up for GymLaunch an hour before going. She said just before we hopped on, literally numb from the waist down at the time, asking for her wallet and all that stuff. So this is going to be really interesting to talk about, but you've been in business total for about 5 years now, correct?
Yep. Total 5 years.
Okay, sweet. So let's take a step back. I always like to do this and kind of talk about like what got you into fitness, all that stuff. What was your journey into it? Because I think it's fascinating to listen to everyone's slightly different journey into it. There's a lot of similarities, I think, between a lot of people, but I always like to get your take on it. So take me back to like what got you into thinking about being a gym owner or fitness in general.
So it actually started in college, and this is going to sound weird, but I went to school to be a pharmacist.
Really?
And
okay.
I was like, yeah, I think this is great. Like, I'm good at selling. I can totally sell people drugs, right? Prescription drugs, doctors, I got this. And then I decided, I was like, I actually don't like the idea of this at all. It's really shitty. Excuse my language. I don't know if I can even say that.
Good.
But I was like, I want to like work with people's health before they get to the point of needing all of these ridiculous prescriptions. So I ended up going to school for nutrition and dietetics. And then it just felt natural to own a gym. So it could be like my vehicle to talk to people about getting healthy.
I love it.
So that's like how I got here.
So real quick, I want to go back to the pharmacy real quick. So you got into pharmacy school. Were you thinking about going into pharmaceutical sales, or were you actually thinking about being a pharmacist?
I was going to be I got into it. It's like a hard program. So I was going to be a pharmacist.
Like, I have a couple of people on that I know through my wife that are pharmacists, and like, it's very difficult.
Yeah. I got into the program. So I was going to just be a pharmacist, but I liked the sales part of it because I don't know, it seemed fun, kind of easy. But yeah, so I did that for 2 years, and then I put the brakes on hard. That was a hard conversation to have with my parents and be like, hey, so I'm not actually going to get my doctorate.
How did they take it?
My parents know me. I'm like pretty stubborn or like strong-willed, I guess I'll say. Yeah. When I make a decision, I pretty much like run with it. There's no changing my mind. So they're like, all right, cool. Good luck.
I'm sure they're happy now. I'm sure they understand they've done it. Okay, that's cool. So how long after college, after you graduated and everything, how long after did you start a gym or get into the gym business?
Probably like 4 years after.
Okay. So what were you doing in that 4 years?
I did marketing and sales for a healthy like beverage company.
Cool. Okay,
yeah.
sweet.
So I went in, I did that. I like worked all up and down the East Coast, managed a team, had 300 people all over the place.
Nice.
And then decided to like put roots down and just dive more into fitness.
So you were probably pretty successful in those 4 years, I'm assuming, doing that, right?
Yep.
So why the switch though? Obviously, assuming it's the passion, it's the desire of what you ultimately wanted to do. Was that really the leading thing? Did you dislike what you were doing before, or you were just so driven by, I need to do this?
I loved the company I worked with, and I loved what I was doing, but I was drained. And it started to get to the point where I was like tired waking up for work every day, and I just didn't have it in me, but I knew that this is what I was passionate about. And one of my like college friends' parents said to me, you have to figure out what you like doing and then find people to pay you an exorbitant amount of money to do it. Yep. And like, that's the secret to life. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to be a trainer in the Hamptons. I'm going to get paid a lot of money to do what I love. And then it's not going to feel like work anymore.
Smart. I like it. So you didn't go straight into owning a gym. You became a trainer at a gym, correct? Or did you? Okay, cool. So where did you become a trainer at?
First, I started at CrossFit.
Okay.
So I was a CrossFit coach for a little bit. Then I went to rowing. That's where I met Alan. And then I got certified in bar. So like I kind of did it all.
Nice.
And I figured out what I liked most. So I like took a combination of those three, and that's where Nomad came from.
That's really cool. That's awesome. You usually don't see those three things. You see the rowing and the CrossFit together, but you don't see bar mixing in with that at all.
Yeah, I could deadlift like over body weight, which I'm sure like there's plenty of people that can do double body weight. But for me, I was small. And so I could deadlift well over my body weight. And then I'd go to bar and I'm like, I can't stand on my tippy toes. Like my legs are shaking. This is hard. Like give me a barbell and some plates to slam around, that I can do. Like staying up on my toes for a minute, I can. So.
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. So you started in CrossFit. How long were you in CrossFit before, or doing all of this stuff? Then you met Alan. So what was the length of time before you met Alan and started essentially merging with him, I guess, is kind of how it went, right?
So I met Alan probably like a year and a half in to like working at the CrossFit gym and training. They had just opened up their first location. And probably a year later, I had this idea. I was like, Alan, we should open up another location. I'm going to do Nomad and you're going to also be like in the facility. So we're going to be like half and half.
Okay.
And he trusted me. And so we did it together.
You had this vision already about Nomad with bar and everything else. And you had this vision of what it was going to be. And then you were going to combine forces with the rowing aspect, open a second location and own it from that piece. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
cool.
exactly it.
So for those of you kind of got the idea of who Alan was, it's a former partner. You guys had it. So what year is that when you actually opened Nomad for the first time?
2017.
Okay. So 2017. So we're 4 years ago. So 4 years ago. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Okay. So you open it up and it's in the Hamptons. It's in the same location that you're in right now?
That was our first location. So I'm still in our second location. We're in East Quogue is our second. East Hampton was our first Nomad location.
Okay. So walk me through kind of your growth from 2017 up until we're going to stop at 2020 because 2020 is a totally different year. So let's talk about this for a little bit. So 2017 to 2020, talk to me about your growth.
So we had the first location in East Hampton and it did really well. That was where Al and I both kind of had our gyms running, but like under the same roof. So it was really cool. Yep. Then in 2000, I have to remember now. Oh my God. The like years blur together. 2019, I had end of 2018, I had a client and I really was looking for another location because I was training people like out of their home still. I had this beautiful location in East Hampton, but I was sort of all over. And it's like having a place uptown and downtown. Like it's just not, people aren't coming downtown, no matter how good you are. And one of my clients was like, oh, I have a building. Like we'll set you up with a second gym. So in 2019, the beginning of 2019, we built out a second gym. We opened up the East Quogue location and we weren't even open a year.
And then COVID hit.
Before we got snacks. So 2019, we did that. The end of 2019, I started talking to Alan and we were going to like merge forces. And so beginning of 2020, we had merged our two businesses together and we had 5 locations between the two.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was before COVID hit, correct?
That was before COVID
Okay.
hit.
All right. So let's talk about this for a little bit real quick. So when you opened Nomad, what was the highest, but pre-COVID, what was the most amount of members that you had?
Active members that were going through our gym was we were like between 150, 175.
That's awesome.
Just Nomad.
Yeah. Just Nomad. Cause I'm thinking about you right now. Cause let's not count the combined cause you're not really anymore, right? It's just you now. We'll talk a little bit about Alan in just a second. Cause I want to talk about the previous history with GymLaunch because you guys were obviously with GymLaunch before you came on by yourself. So, but with Nomad, what was the average revenue you were doing per month, just Nomad pre-COVID?
We had, oh my God, I have to get my calculator out. We were doing like on the low end, on average, $199 a client. Okay. So if it was like 199 times 150,
you're about 34, 35. Okay.
Yeah. Ish.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sweet. And that was just Nomad, not counting the rowing side.
Yes. Just Nomad.
All right. Sweet. And so you had those 2 locations and then Alan had 3 locations, correct? Because I know he
Correct.
thinks he had one downtown. Did he have one downtown in New York City? I think
we had one on the Upper East Side.
Yeah.
And then 2 in the Hamptons.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. So when did he join GymLaunch?
He probably joined GymLaunch. Ooh, I want to say like 2018, either the end of 2018, beginning of 2019.
Okay, cool. And so you guys were still working together. He joined GymLaunch, and then you started seeing all of that stuff and started implementing those processes, correct?
Oh my God, the 6-week challenge was like blowing up out here, blowing up. It was insane. We had everything. We had the in-body scan. We had the packets. We had the printouts. I still have the 5 pound of fat.
Yeah, the fat blob.
It still sits on my shelf at my gym, and people are like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yep, 5 pounds of fat, baby. It's awesome. It's a great look. It's a great look. Okay, so you guys were absolutely crushing it with what you guys were doing. Talk to me a little bit about some of the problems that you faced, because we were talking about this right before we started recording and going into this. You were saying you guys were crushing it and signing up a bunch of people, but then there was a massive fallout on the back end because of fulfillment. Walk me through a little bit of the problems you guys were facing.
The fulfillment, just like the pitch, everything was great, like you said. And we were signing up people, like our close rate was well in the like mid to high 90s. There was not a person that was really like saying no to it.
And how much were you selling it for? You were doing the 6-week challenge, and how much were you selling it for?
I think it was $5.99.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet.
If I can recall correctly. But the fulfillment was just, we didn't build out our team fast enough. And so the fulfillment on the back end just was like, it wasn't good. Truthfully, there's no other way to put it. Like, it doesn't fall on anybody else but us. Like, the follow-up wasn't there. The like nurturing that needed to be there wasn't there. And it was just sort of like, here's your challenge. Thanks for your money. Here's the packet. Jump on the scale once a week. Good luck.
Yeah, I get it, which is really interesting, right? Because there's a lot of gym owners, and we'll talk about how it is today, but there's a lot of gym owners right now and for a long time that were like, man, that's a great problem to have. You got people coming in and paying you money, but like, that's still a major problem too, because it can also decimate a brand, right?
It almost did.
Yeah.
It almost did.
So tell me a little bit about that. Like, how was that in the community with the backlash? Because I'm just assuming that if that was a problem and you have a large exit on the back end, you're signing up a bunch of people promising, but maybe not able to deliver to the extent that you needed to. I'm sure there's a lot of talk.
There was. And it was like in a competitive market where there was a lot of other gyms running the same thing we were running.
Yeah.
So it didn't look organic and it didn't look natural. And people kind of felt like they couldn't trust us anymore. And then we went to, then I mean, like, I'm going to transition into this, but then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so we still had the same problem when COVID hit. We were doing the 21 days at $2.99, no problem getting people to sign up, but we were like a one-man show.
Yeah.
And so the leads were insane. Like 28 calls a day was average. I mean, every 30 minutes, we were banging it out. And there, like, Alan and I would have to be on calls together. There was like no time to drink water or pee, to be a perfect man.
Just constant sales.
And then the same thing, like, we should have set up a sales team and we should have set up a fulfillment team faster. And it was hard because we had a lot of people that were like, we want a refund. I want a refund. I want a refund. And so we like scorched our name a little bit. Luckily, we operated under a different name.
Yeah. I was going to say, because
so,
I'm looking at everything inside GymLaunch, and when you guys were doing stuff, I don't remember Nomad East Fitness as being the name.
No, it was not. But I'll say, so like, my business now, we just launched a 12-week beta challenge, which is
nice,
but it's like more for hybrid and remote.
Yep.
And I had a client from that original set of people see just my videos on Facebook. And she was like, oh my God, I did so good with you. I want to come back. She was a free client.
That's awesome.
Free, unpaid.
Yep.
$49 a week now she's paying. And she paid in full, actually.
I love it. That's awesome.
So like there was bad stuff, but there was also a ton of people. Like, I have a private client that came out of it. She still works with me today. So there was some salvaging. We were able to salvage some of it, but there was some that, like, people just got lost. I mean, you'd say somebody's name to me and I'd be like, I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah. And that's the game too, for anyone that's listening too, is like, there's on both sides, right? There's a continuum of like, I don't have enough sales and I have all the time in the world to fulfill. And then you got on the other side where you're just talking about is like, I have all the sales, and a lot of people that aren't making sales are like, oh, you have it so good, but it's like, there's still problems, period.
Yeah.
The problems may be different, but there's still problems. So being able to balance that is huge. So I'm assuming that was a massive learning lesson for you as you go into like, as you kind of separated ways from Alan and being like having your own location, not being partners, doing the split. I'm assuming that that's probably still in the back of your mind as you continue to sell today and continue to scale.
It is. It's even why like I capped this program, because I knew how, like, I listened to the calls all the time, and like feeling like you can charge the price for me comes with knowing that I can fulfill on it, because I don't want to do what happened last time, because like, it doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank account. Like that hurts like to the core.
Yeah.
Like when you're a good person, you know, you want to do right by people. You don't want to just like
absolutely
not fulfill on stuff. So
you want to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and just be like, I did really well.
100%. Yeah.
I get it. Okay. So let's talk about COVID a little bit. The big old C word. So what happened? You guys had 5 locations. You literally just partnered together. So you combined, you had 5 locations, 3 rowing spots, and then you had 2 Nomad East fitness facilities. You do it like what, end of 2019, early 2020, you combine, and then COVID hits, everything's locked down, shut down. Obviously you guys were still selling, but like, walk me through the rest of 2020. What happened?
Oh my God. So
where do we begin?
I know. Where do we begin? People didn't even know I was their boss. Let's put it that way. That was how soon the merger was. So like, I would be calling people and they're like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Albie. I'm the new CEO. Hey, nice to meet you. We're going to like do this thing together. We got like a flatbed. We were loading rowers up on the flatbread, and we were just like delivering them to people's houses, you know, praying that we have their card. Yeah. They sign a contract, but we're just like praying we get our equipment back eventually.
Yeah, for real. Or their card
or their card go through. And we think like, okay, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, like that's it. Well, then like doors will open, everything will be fine.
Flatten the curve, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Yeah. We were the first, and you know, gyms were the first ones to get shut down.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, a month goes by, 2 months go by, and Alan and I were like, this isn't changing.
That's what I was going to ask. When did it hit you like it was not, like we're not going back to normal for a while?
I don't even think that it was that we weren't going back to normal. It hit me when I had to pay a trainer out of my own pocket.
Oh, yeah, that's a big hit.
So it was a game that we had to play out here where like, and these are all controversial things, but I'm going to say like unemployment was paying more to not do anything than it was to just log on to Zoom and teach for an hour. So we had to pay a lot for our trainers to show up, and we couldn't charge a lot because we didn't really have the back end system built out, right? Like we were just sort of hoping to survive. And it was that there was a week where payroll came around and I had to pay a trainer out of my pocket. And I was like, the bleed has to stop. Like you can't bleed for too long.
Yeah.
And I just didn't see an end in sight. I think that was like in July.
Okay. So that was July. So that would have been 4 months in, really. So
yeah.
How much revenue were you guys doing combined before everything that happened with COVID?
We were having like easy 100,000 months.
Yeah. I was going to say between all 5 locations, right? Combined.
Yeah.
And then by July, what were you guys doing?
I think we were lucky. See, here's the thing. We had money coming in.
Yeah.
But we had refunds going out.
Yeah.
And we were paying trainers $50 flat to do Zoom. And we were running like, oh my God, probably 4 classes a week.
Oh my gosh.
Or no, I'm sorry, 4 classes a day.
Oh my gosh. So you're paying $200.
Plus we were
$200
plus $100 to $200 ad spend a day. And like, I don't think we didn't pay rent.
Yeah.
But we bled. We bled faster than we could stop it.
I don't doubt it. So do you know how low it got revenue wise to like during the worst part? Do you remember how low it got?
No, I mean, and because we weren't tracking it properly. I could probably go back into like old Allen records and see. But I don't even really know what we were turning.
That's crazy. So walk me through. So you're through that. You're hitting the points where it's like you're literally paying people out of your own pocket to do that. You're like, it's time to make some money. When did it start to turn around? And also how about this? When did the split happen? When did you guys decide to part ways?
So I think, so that was, we let it get to that. We paid a trainer out of the pocket and then we kind of said, it's time to shut it down.
Okay. That was July.
So yeah, that was in July. And then we parted ways. It was all amicable. There was just, we had to make a very like non-emotional business decision together.
Awesome.
And then
I remember him.
He is
calls, like awesome guy.
He's so great. Still good friends with him and his wife today. And then I just went into personal training, 100% personal training. I had to get the cash flow going. I'd get the packages running, the high ticket items for me. Then that was my high ticket item. And that was a supply and demand miracle.
Yeah, I bet. You were probably one of the few places that was still actually training people, right? Because it was like a speakeasy type.
We were turning like $30,000 to $50,000 a month as soon as we did that.
Wow. That's amazing.
And I was doing it solo.
Oh my gosh. How many sessions a day were you?
There would be days. So like I was so busy. I would tell people paying full $125 a session that I couldn't fit them in for the day, but if they wanted, they could double or triple up.
Wow. And they were still happy to pay it and come in and still work
happy to do it. So I was getting like 12 to 14 clients in a day.
Wow. That's crazy. Were you pregnant at this time?
Not yet.
Okay. All right.
That was in July. I didn't find out I was pregnant until the beginning of November, but I was still doing it. So like,
it doesn't slow down. Like something has to happen. Like the business still has to keep going.
Yeah. And we stayed busy. I mean, we're still busy like that. We've just now coming on to GymLaunch, like we've just transitioned our model a little bit.
Yeah.
And I brought 2 trainers on. So the load got a little bit better. I was forced to.
Yeah, you got to, no matter what. And you probably learned from what you were doing before to make sure that you were able to scale it. So talk to me a little bit about why did you come back to GymLaunch? Because you were with GymLaunch, you had all the systems, you did that, you were doing great. It sounds like with personal training. So like, what was the motivation to even come back?
You guys, here we go. You guys, your head's going to get too big to get through the door, but like you guys are the secret sauce. You have the systems. And like it's hard not to smile. Don't smile too big.
I know. It's nice to hear.
But it's true. And so I knew that I was doing really well. I just wanted to do better and I wanted more and I wanted it to be a system. Like I'm ready. I was ready to grow.
Yes.
And so I sort of said when like the pandemic hit, I was like, some people are either going to turtle or they're going to thrive. I thrived, but I thrived. I survived, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And now I was just like, I'm ready for more.
I love it. So when did you join? Let's talk about this. When did you rejoin GymLaunch for yourself? Because before Alan was part of it and you kind of got that as part of being the partner. When did you sign up?
So I texted Sean, like maybe I want to say like a week or 2.
Yeah. Before your due date?
Before my due date. I mean, I was so pregnant on those calls with him. Like I'm surprised the baby didn't come out then.
I probably need to go back and actually watch those calls because we record all those. It'd probably be hilarious.
Oh yeah, like my belly is out to here. And literally was making sure my like card was having a problem. So I didn't want to like not be able to sign up. I wanted to have it because I'm sick in the head and I'm like, I'm going to be in bed for 2 days after this baby comes. Like, I want to look through the portal again. I want to watch all the videos. Like I need something to do.
That's amazing.
So I wanted to make sure I had access to it. So like literally I'm numb from the waist down. Like the doctors are getting ready to come in and tell me to push.
Wait,
and I'm like,
were you in the hospital?
Oh, I was in the hospital.
Wait, so you're in the hospital, literally about to get ready to start pushing and you're you're actually signing paperwork and paying for it.
Oh, like epidural in my back, like IVs in me, gown and all.
That is amazing. I thought that you were at home and then maybe your water broke and then you went to the hospital. Like I didn't know that you were actually in the hospital.
Oh no, like in the hospital. I'm telling you, like I was an hour away from like, she's here.
This is epic.
Yeah. So I was like, Nick, you gotta get my wallet. I gotta check the numbers on my card.
That's incredible. And so did you have a boy or a girl?
I had a girl.
Girl. Awesome. What's her name?
Yeah. Reagan.
That's so cool. And how old is she now?
She's almost 3 months old.
Okay. So you've been with us for almost 3 months.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So how much were you making? Let's talk about money real quick. We won't talk about your daughter. Your daughter is your own daughter. We're not going to talk about that. We're not on here to talk about all that stuff. I still cannot believe the fact that you were actually in the hospital when you closed. I am mind blown right now. I legit thought that you were at home and maybe your water broke and then like 12 hours later you had it. Okay. That's incredible. So how much revenue were you guys doing before you joined GymLaunch per month?
We were between $20,000 and $30,000 months.
Okay. 20. So we'll just go ahead and round it up to 25. We'll just meet in the middle. How about that? So 25K a month, and you were doing personal training primarily, correct? Or had you
just personal training?
Okay, just personal training. And so you joined GymLaunch, and then let's fast forward to today. What's been the difference? Is there any difference? Have you guys grown? What does it look like?
So we got into semi-privates. We got the gym set up so that we can do the 1-on-4 model. We are running the beta program, paid in full. We did our first launch. We cap it at 10 people. We did that first launch like a month ago.
Love it.
Which went amazing. We've gotten Prestige Labs into the gym. So we've been selling our clients on that. Yep. And then we just ran a second beta program where we capped it at, it's supposed to be 32. I let another person sneak in, but we did 33 people. And that's most, like on average, this is fully remote.
Okay.
99 a week.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. So how much total, what are you guys doing per month now?
Our run right now, I knew you were going to ask me this, and I just looked at my numbers, and Dave's going to yell at me because I don't fill out my sheet. We are at 55 right now.
That's awesome. So you've more than doubled basically since, or almost doubled if you count your high months at 30K. You've pretty much doubled in 2.5 months.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. That's amazing. And you're still growing because you're still stacking all the new people that are coming in. The EFTs are going to continue to stack along with all this stuff.
Correct. And this has all been organic so far.
Not a dime spent on ads.
Not a dime spent on ads. I tried to boost one post and I had somebody tagged in it, so it wouldn't let me do it. But yeah, not even. So we will be getting set up on Go High Level and run paid lead gen real soon.
So how do you get leads right now?
Referrals.
I love it. I love it. How many referrals do you get per month on average?
For personal training, for just coming into the gym, we probably get around 5.
Okay.
I just brought Nick on, my husband, we'll call him, but I just brought him on as a trainer. So now we're getting significantly more because we're just able to kind of tag him into the gym.
Perfect.
Oops, there goes the headphone.
I can still hear you.
So, but most of it is just people seeing us post on social media.
That's awesome.
Yep.
So you get 5 PT referrals. What about the other side? Is there any? So you're really only getting 5 signups per month right now? 5
signups per month, but we just activated, let me see. So some of the people that did the beta challenge it's bolt on for them. So they're coming into the gym and then they're also doing everything extra online. But we just reactivated, I should have all these numbers. It was 17 people. That's cool. So you brought 17 people back as well. That's awesome. Or it wasn't even 17 people back. These were people that just kind of see us, that they're always oh, should I do it? Should I be a part of it? So some of these people are brand new to Nomad. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. And that's all through posting. So let's be real here. You're not blowing the doors off from a lead acquisition standpoint. You're making all of your money right now by having the right pricing model and the right offers. That's fantastic. So really, you're probably going to blow the doors off your gym once you actually start advertising. Yeah, there's so much more room for growth, which is awesome. And I've just tried to be gradual about it. I think partially because of that fear, but also I'm very happy with the way that the growth is going. So because we're doing it right this time. That's awesome. And then how big is your location? We're 800 square feet. That's phenomenal. Small. So you're doing 55K a month out of 800 square feet. Also because of the fact that you also bolted on hybrid or the online component, which that's amazing. And then just curious, what's your churn like? I'm assuming it's pretty low. It is really low. I mean, if we lose one person every 3 months, it's normally because there was no way to save them. Wow. And it's not because of something that the gym did, just because they really only like personal or semi-private, and they like went back to Texas.
Yeah. So they
very
moved.
hard to fulfill on that. Yeah.
It's basically okay. And so how many total clients do you have right now?
Right now we have 60. I think we're at like 65, between 65 and 70. So we doubled.
So let's say, so your average client value right now is $785 a month.
Sounds about right.
That's phenomenal. That's incredible.
That's actually like low. I mean, only because we have some people that came in that brought the average down.
Yeah, but that's amazing. That's incredible. What are your margins like? You don't have to tell me how much you take home, but like margin wise, is it like 10, 20, 50%?
Luckily, we're very high only because my rent is very cheap.
That's great.
And because we have no ad spend right now.
Yeah. So it's probably what, like 70?
We're probably up there. Yeah. Dave is going to kill me when he sees this.
I know, he's going to be like, why doesn't she know these numbers? She needs to do these.
I know.
That's just so you guys know that are watching this. If you're wondering who Dave is our director of client coaching. And we have a program called Inner Circle where you're essentially in a small pod of 4 other gym owners. So there's 5 in your group, I'm assuming, right? There's 5. Yeah. And then you get coaching bi-weekly plus other things that are added on and all this stuff. So it's a customized approach to kind of GymLaunch. So that's why she's saying that. So you have to submit your stats every week and all that stuff. So he's definitely going to watch this. He's like,
still going to get lashed.
He's going to send me like a facepalm emoji or something like that. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But this is incredible. So you went from literally going to college to be a pharmacist, right? You get into it and you're like, nope, I want to help people prior to the drug aspect. I don't want to just solve stuff with a Band-Aid. I want to go to the root cause of it, solve it. You go through school, you do all that stuff. You have a great job. You switch back into your passion. You say goodbye to that. You're like, I want to really help people. Then you go through the whole gamut of like, you're selling a bunch of people, not fulfilling, they're leaving out the door, right? Then COVID hits, you start your own gym, all this stuff. And now all of a sudden you've got 2 kids, you're killing it every single month. You doubled in less than 2.5 months and absolutely crushing with high margins and tons of upside because you haven't even touched ads yet. That's incredible. Are you stoked? Are you happy?
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It like goes to so many layers deep. Like we basically like retired my husband.
That's awesome.
That's huge. I mean, he's not retired because he works at the gym now, but like he was in construction. He was like leaving the house 5:30, coming home 6 o'clock, not seeing the kids. And like, when you get the quality of life back,
yes,
it's so I'm like stoked beyond words. We can travel together. Like we're gonna go to Hawaii in 4 weeks, and like all of these remote clients. I just said to him the other night, I'm like, this is how much money we're gonna make still when we're in Hawaii, and like not have to pay a trainer to fulfill on it.
How amazing is that?
So it's that like that was so much more important for me. And now that we've gotten that, and now that we can see it, I mean, the other day, he's a Giants fan. We're not going to go there. But he's like, oh, Giants are playing Miami in December. I think I'm going to go down to the game.
Yep.
And I just laughed. I'm like, how nice is that you can just like go to Miami to watch the Giants lose, but whatever.
To watch the Giants lose. Are you a Jets fan?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh, and what? I guess that makes sense being Princeton. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. So that's a serious battle inside your house.
Oh, it is.
Oh my gosh. Don't want to be there for Giant Eagle games. I'm sure that's incredible. So
we don't speak.
But that's amazing. So I'm assuming he loves it too. Being able to quit that and spend more time with everyone. I'm sure he loves that. How is that working?
He loves it.
I'm sure everyone's going to ask or has this question. I actually never asked this question because I work great with my wife, but what's it like working with your husband and father of your children on a daily basis?
It's so cool. And like, I do listen a lot to Layla and Alex and like what they have to say about it because I'm always curious, but we serve different roles. And even when we're both in the gym together, like we're doing our own thing.
Good.
So it's really awesome.
You're not crossing lines. You have clearly defined roles. Don't cross over. I trust you to do this. You trust me to do this and we'll crush it. And you both crush it together.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. I'm sure your kids also enjoy it too. Even though they're younger, they probably really enjoy the fact that they can see you more.
And they're gym rats. Like my son knows how to do half of this stuff. He's 3.5. It's crazy. So no, it is nice that like they get to see mom and dad together a lot more.
That's really cool. So what is, what's the next step? What are your goals to finish out the year and move into Q1 of 2022?
My wildly important goals. Let's see. I want to hit 85.
Seven-figure run rate.
Is my number. And I want to get some paid lead gen, like getting Go High Level set up, getting that, and really like crushing it. I want to have 100 members in studio, and I want to have 100 members remote by the end of the year. That's like, that was what I told them when I signed up. So that's my goal. By
the end of 2021 or 2022?
2021.
All right, better get ads started.
I know.
Let's go. How many? So you have 70, you said 65 to 70. Is that all in person, or is that in combination of online and in person?
Combination right now.
Okay. So you got
so we've got like 30 remote right now and 40 in gym.
Time to scale. I love it. I can't wait to do an interview again in 2022, a year from now, and look at where you're at. It's going to be awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. So last question, and this is one I ask all the time for anyone that's kind of sitting on the fence. You have an interesting story because you were part of GymLaunch before, and now you came in again. For someone sitting on the fence of like, hey, I don't know if I want to join this program. I don't know if it's for me. What would you tell them?
Stop thinking about it and just do it.
I love it.
I mean, I came back. Yeah. That in itself like proves it, because it's not like I left. I mean, we just stopped because that company dissolved. But I came back because of how good it is. And it's like, you don't come here for 3 months. You don't come here for 6 months. You like come here and you commit. Yeah. I just committed for an entire year with you guys after what, 2.5, almost 3 months, because like, that's how good it is. And the best thing I would say about GymLaunch is like, I don't have business partners, right?
Yeah.
When you're a gym owner, sometimes you do need people that are smarter than you and better than you, and like who have the answers that you don't know. And there's 2 ways to do that. You either end up with a business partner who you're giving 50% away to, or you hire you guys.
Yeah. It's a little bit
really. Yeah. Those are like my only 2 options that I could ever foresee. So
I love it.
Just don't wait. I mean, it's silly. Or give 50% of your business away to somebody else and like regret it eventually.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. Again, awesome. Well, Albie, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it. For those of you that are watching, drop a comment down below, give Albie some love, and please don't reach out to her and ask her questions about her business. She's already busy enough. She's got 2 kids, running a business, all that stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be people that are probably going to be sliding in to messages trying to ask you what you're doing, all that stuff. So if she doesn't reply, she's probably busy making money and changing lives, or traveling to Hawaii. So that could be it as well. But again, Albie, thank you so much for hopping on and taking the time to do this. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. We'll see you guys on the next one. I got a couple more interviews lined up, which I'm super stoked about as well. I don't know if it's going to top this one though, with the story of literally being in the hospital bed with everything ready to go. Like, it's going to be hard to beat that. It's going to be very hard.
Somebody will.
I don't know about that, but all right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one.